The land of Ooze sleeps beneath a blanket of silver clouds. Mountains hum softly in the distance, their peaks touched by fading stars. The grasslands shimmer like ocean waves as dawn rises and the last whispers of night melt into gentle gold. Somewhere, between dream and memory, two figures stir. A boy with a sword too large for his years, and a dog whose shape is as fluid as thought itself. Finn and Jake, once heroes, now echoes of stories half remembered. Pause. In this quiet hour, when the world yawns and the horizon blushes, their tale begins again. Not in the clash of battle or the roar of monsters, but in the hush of reflection, the kind that lingers long after adventure fades. The meadows remember their laughter. The rivers still hum the rhythm of their footsteps. Even the wind, restless and kind, seems to murmur their names as it slips through the ruins of old kingdoms. Yet tonight, or perhaps forever, we are not here to remember the victories. We are here to remember the silence between them. Finn once said that being a hero wasn't about fighting. It was about remembering why you fight. But as years drift like dandelion seeds across the plains of time, even heroes forget. The mind folds memory into myth and myth into dream until all that remains are stories told by the stars. What becomes of heroes when no one speaks their names? Do they fade, or do they linger, patient, unseen, waiting for someone, somewhere, to dream of them again? Pause. Finn stands at the edge of a forgotten forest. The trees here are ancient, older than the Candy Kingdom, older than the Mushroom War, older even than magic itself. Their bark is pale, soft as candle wax, and their leaves hum faintly in the wind, as though breathing. Beneath them, Jake naps, his body coiled like a golden spiral, his chest rising and falling to a rhythm that sounds almost like the ocean. Finn touches one of the trees. It glows faintly, remembering him. Every hero leaves behind a trace, not in monuments or trophies, but in the things they once touched, the beings they once saved. The land itself becomes their diary. The stones hold their footsteps. The rivers echo their voices. And the stars, the stars. They carry their laughter into eternity, but memory is fragile. Like a dream upon waking, it slips away if not held gently. Finn closes his eyes and listens. Somewhere deep in the forest, the air trembles with something familiar. A melody that sounds like home, like the sound of Jake's laughter mixed with the crackle of their old campfire. He follows it, slow and steady, his boots whispering through the moss. Or pause. As he walks, he wonders, did they ever really change the world? Or did the world merely turn, unbothered, as heroes came and went? He thinks of the people they helped, the Candy Citizens, the Fire People, the Ice King, even Marceline. So many stories, all braided together, all fading like twilight colors. Jake, Finn whispers, do you think we'll ever be remembered? Jake yawns, stretching until his shape fills the space between trees, then shrinks again into a small, round ball. Bro, he murmurs, memories don't live in people. They live in what we loved, and perhaps that's true. The things we love are the things that remember us best. In the stillness of the forest, time bends. It folds over itself like soft cloth, bringing past and present to rest side by side. The wind carries faint echoes, snippets of laughter, the clang of a sword, the hum of adventure, but they sound distant, like waves crashing on another shore. Finn and Jake were not just heroes of the land, they were explorers of being, seekers of truth hidden in the ordinary. Every monster they fought, every riddle they solved, reflected something inside themselves. Finn's courage was not the absence of fear, but the act of walking forward despite it. Jake's wisdom was not learned but lived, an easy kind of knowing that came from love. Pause. And so the forest becomes their mirror. Every leaf reflects a memory. Every shadow tells a truth. Finn kneels by a pool of water, still, clear, and endless. He peers into it, expecting his reflection. But what he sees is not himself. He sees the boy he once was, younger, unscarred, bright-eyed and full of wonder. The boy smiles at him, and for a moment the air fills with that old sense of possibility, that childlike belief that every path leads somewhere beautiful. Then the image fades, rippling away into silver. The forest exhales. Sometimes forgetting is a mercy. To remember everything would be to carry the weight of every joy, every loss, every goodbye. And so the world forgets just as it must. Not to erase, but to rest. Pause. Finn sits beside Jake. "Do you ever dream of when we started?" he asks softly. Jake's eyelids flutter. "All the time, bro. But the dreams change every time." That's the strange thing about memory. It's alive. It breathes, it grows, it shifts shape. Just like Jake, memory adapts to the space it's given. Maybe that's the real magic of heroes. Not the battles, not the glory, but the way their stories change to fit the hearts of those who remember them. The forest begins to hum. Not a song, but a kind of heartbeat. Slow, deep, eternal. And with it comes a warmth, a golden light rising through the branches like dawn. It feels like the world is waking. It feels like the story is breathing again. Finn smiles. For the first time in what feels like centuries, he doesn't feel lost. He remembers the promise he once made to himself, to always move forward, no matter what. Even if the world forgets, even if the stars dim, he would keep walking. Because the act of remembering, of living, is itself the truest adventure. Pause. Jake stretches, floating lazily upward until his body hovers beside Finn's. "So," he says, grinning. "Where to next?" Finn looks toward the horizon. "A faint glow dances there. Maybe sunrise, maybe something else. Anywhere," he says. "As long as we keep going." And so they walk, their figures growing smaller against the morning light. Two golden silhouettes fading into the folds of eternity. The forest watches them go, rustling softly, whispering the oldest truth it knows, that every ending is only another kind of beginning. Pause. Far above, a single star lingers in the pale sky. It flickers once, gently, knowingly, before disappearing into day. But its light remains, caught in the corners of leaves, in the ripples of water, in the air itself. It is the memory of heroes. Not loud, not blazing, just warm. And if you listen closely enough, you can still hear them laughing, drifting through time like the faintest dream. The sun in the land of Oo rises like liquid honey, slow and golden, spilling warmth across the candy-colored hills. The air smells faintly of caramel and sea salt, sweet but softened by distance. The ground beneath is sugar-dusted and soft as velvet, whispering underfoot. Finn and Jake wander through what remains of the Candy Kingdom, though it is not quite the same as they remember. The gumdrop towers have melted slightly, their edges curved by years and weather. Lollipop lampposts lean toward one another as if in conversation. Even the great peppermint gates, once gleaming with laughter, stand open, waiting for visitors who never come. Yes. This place remembers joy. It hums with it quietly, like the faint aftertaste of a forgotten song. Every candy brick and melted street corner holds an echo of giggles, of bustling footsteps, of Princess Bubblegum's gentle, measured voice giving instructions in the distance. Jake tilts his head, sniffing the air. "Smells like memories, bro," he says softly. All melted together. Finn smiles faintly. I wonder if she's still out there somewhere. Maybe she is. Or maybe she's become part of the kingdom itself, absorbed into the sugar and glass, her essence scattered like light, refracting through crystal. The Candy Kingdom was always alive after all, a place where sweetness had spirit and laughter had form. They pass a broken candy window. The shards glitter in the sunlight like fragments of frozen time. Finn crouches beside them, brushing his fingertips along the edge. He sees himself reflected 100 times over, each reflection slightly different. A boy, a hero, a wanderer, an old soul lost between worlds. How many versions of himself has he been? How many have vanished quietly when he wasn't looking? Pause. A soft breeze flows through the empty streets, carrying whispers. The faint hum of familiar voices. Peppermint Butler with his endless secrets. Cinnamon Bun stumbling with clumsy optimism. Tiny citizens of sugar and spice, all laughing as though eternity was something they could taste. For a moment, Finn swears he hears them again. The chatter, the heartbeat of a living kingdom. And then, as quickly as it arrives, the sound fades, leaving only silence. Silence can be heavy, but in that silence, meaning grows. They stop at the central square where the great candy fountain once bubbled with pink syrup and laughter. Now the fountain stands still. The water has hardened into a translucent crystal, catching the sunlight in rainbows. Inside the crystal, small shapes are suspended. Sugar sculptures, preserved in mid-motion, like dreams caught in amber. Jake leans closer. Whoa, it's like time just decided to stop for dessert. Finn chuckles, then looks more closely. Each frozen shape tells a story. A candy citizen sharing sweets with a friend, two lovers holding hands, a little child chasing a bouncing gumdrop. They are moments, pure, fleeting, beautiful, preserved forever. And Finn wonders, is this what memory truly is? A stillness that pretends to be eternity? Pause. He reaches out, pressing his hand against the crystal. It's warm, warmer than it should be. For a second he feels something stir inside it. Not movement, but a heartbeat. The fountain remembers. He closes his eyes and the world around him ripples. Suddenly, the streets are alive again. The candy people laughing, the fountain bubbling, music drifting from the palace. He sees Princess Bubblegum leaning over the balcony, her eyes bright and calculating, her voice carrying with a softness that hides exhaustion. She is not just a ruler, she is the kingdom's pulse. Her mind, the machinery that holds joy together. But even machines need to rest. Finn opens his eyes and the illusion dissolves. The city returns to stillness, golden and silent beneath the morning sky. He sighs. Jake looks at him. Quiet now, unusually serious. You think they remember us, man? Finn takes a deep breath. I think the world remembers in its own way. Maybe not faces or names, but feelings, like echoes. Jake nods slowly. Echoes, huh? Sweet ones, though. Pause. And that's the heart of it, echoes. They are what remain when everything else has gone. Not perfect replicas of sound or memory, but softened impressions. The way laughter still feels warm, even when you can't remember the joke. The way a place can feel like home, even if you've never been there before. The Candy Kingdom is filled with such echoes. Soft, fragrant, bittersweet. They drift through the air like invisible music, clinging to every wall and petal, singing quietly of what once was. Finn and Jake climb the sugar hill overlooking the palace. The sky is vast, a swirl of cream clouds painted by afternoon light. In the far distance, the ocean glitters, calm and endless. Jake, Finn says, "Do you ever think about endings?" Jake rolls onto his back, hands behind his head. All the time, dude. But I also think, maybe there's no such thing. Maybe stuff just turns into other stuff, Finn chuckles softly. You mean like candy melting into syrup?
Exactly, Jake says.
Or like us turning into memories?
Same thing, just
Sweeter. Pause. The simplicity of it makes sense. Life, adventure, love, they melt, but they never disappear. They change shape, flow into something else. Even sorrow, when held gently, can become tenderness. Finn lies beside his friend, watching the sky. Each cloud above looks like something familiar, a sword, a treehouse, a star, a smile. But as they drift, they lose shape and merge into one another. It's beautiful, he thinks. How nothing ever stays, yet everything remains. Down below, a faint shimmer moves across the empty palace. For a moment, it looks as though someone is walking along the balcony, a figure of pink light turning her face toward the horizon. Finn's breath catches Princess Bubblegum, but she doesn't see him. She isn't really there. She's part of the kingdom now, the soul of sweetness itself, watching over what remains. Finn doesn't speak. He only bows his head slightly, a gesture of gratitude, of remembrance. Because that's all memory ever asks for, to be seen once more. Pause. The wind grows gentle, brushing through the candy grass. Jake hums softly, a lullaby of no particular tune. The sound drifts, rises, fades, like a heartbeat made of sunlight, and, for a moment, the world feels full again. Not with people or sound, but with meaning. Quiet, tender, eternal. They stay until dusk. As the sky deepens into a violet hue, the first stars appear. Small, bright, familiar. The same stars that once guided them across deserts and frozen plains. They twinkle now above the kingdom that no longer sleeps or wakes, only remembers. Finn stands. Ready to go? Jake stretches, morphing into a long golden path leading down the hill. Hop on, bro, Finn laughs, stepping onto the path. As they glide away from the Candy City, the world behind them shimmers. Just once, like a mirage, and then stills again, peaceful in its eternal dusk. The night gathers softly, wrapping the land in blue velvet. Finn looks back one last time. Good night,
Princess, he whispers, and though the city is silent,
the wind seems to answer, a sweet sigh of gratitude, drifting upward into the stars, as the journey continues. Ahead lies a vast plain, dark and glittering with starlit dew. Somewhere beyond it, mountains rise like sleeping giants, their peaks brushing the edge of dreams. Jake grins. What do you think's next? Finn smiles faintly. Something old, something waiting. They move forward, the light of the Candy Kingdom fading behind them. A warm ember in the distance, pulsing like a memory that refuses to die, and as they travel, the narrator's voice softens, like the hush before sleep. Every world leaves behind a trace. Every friendship becomes a constellation, and somewhere in the folds of eternity, heroes keep walking, not to be remembered, but to remember. The air changes before the sea appears. It carries a hush, a deep salt calm that seeps into everything, into breath, into thought, into the soft pulse beneath the skin. The scent is ancient, brine and wind and something older still, like forgotten lullabies. Finn and Jake arrive at the edge of the dreaming sea, where the water glows faintly under starlight. It is not a normal ocean. It shifts and glimmers, rippling like liquid glass. Sometimes it is blue, sometimes silver, and sometimes the color of nothing at all. As if the sea remembers being sky. No waves crash here. The water sighs instead, inhaling and exhaling in long, rhythmic whispers. Each breath carries faint reflections, memories from long ago, faces, laughter, places that might have never existed, drifting just beneath the surface. Jake squints at the horizon.
Bro, it's like the ocean's dreaming, Finn nods slowly.
Yeah, maybe we're walking through someone else's memory. He steps closer, and the sand beneath his boots feels cool, alive. Not like earth, but like something that listens. Each footprint glows faintly, fading as soon as the next is made. The night here feels thick, like velvet pressed close to the skin. It wraps around them, inviting silence. They walk along the shore until they find an old boat half buried in the sand. Its hull is covered in coral and sea glass, its sail long dissolved into threads of moonlight.
But something about it feels familiar, a memory too faint to name. Finn runs a hand along the wood. It's weird, he says softly. I feel like we've been here before, Jake shrugs.
Maybe we have. Maybe everyone ends up here someday, would it? In the dream of the sea. Pause. They climb aboard, and as they sit, the boat stirs.
No oars, no wind, just movement, smooth and patient, carrying them out onto the glowing water.
The sea accepts them, like a memory recognizing its source. For a while, neither speaks. The only sound is the slow hum beneath them, the ocean's steady breathing, like the heart of the world itself. Finn looks down and sees faces drifting beneath the waves, faint outlines blurred by motion. Some he knows, old friends, lost allies, even enemies who long ago found peace. Others are strangers, or perhaps versions of himself that never were. Each face rises, glows softly, and then dissolves into light. He feels something stir deep inside. Not sadness, exactly, but a tender ache.
Jake, he whispers, do you think memories have places?
Like physical places they go when people forget them. Jake stretches his arm lazily, tracing ripples on the water.
Sure, man, why not? Maybe this is it, the big old ocean of everything people stopped remembering. Finn watches the horizon.
If that's true, then this sea must be full of stories, Jake grins. Dude, we're literally sailing on bedtime stories right now. Pause. The idea feels right, comforting even. Every word ever spoken, every friendship ever cherished,
every secret ever whispered to the wind, all drifting here.
Safe and luminous beneath the waves, and somewhere within that great ocean of memory, maybe even their old adventures live on, tiny ripples of laughter,
still echoing after all this time, as the boat glides deeper.
The light beneath the surface grows brighter, pulsing in time with the stars above. It's as if the sky and the sea are breathing together, a conversation too ancient for words. Finn leans over the edge, his reflection fractured across the waves. For a moment, he sees something beyond himself. A shape forming in the water, tall and glowing. It is neither man nor creature, but the spirit of the sea, formed entirely of shifting light. Its voice comes as a vibration in the bones, low and calm. Traveler of echoes, it says, why do you walk upon my dream? Finn doesn't answer at first. He only stares, feeling the question sink into him like rain through soil. Finally, he whispers, because I want to remember. The spirit's form ripples, its features unreadable. To remember is to disturb the waters, it murmurs. But forgetting, that is the stillness that heals. Pause. The words linger, heavy and soft. Jake frowns. So what? We're not supposed to remember anything. The spirit's voice hums again, like wind through hollow shells. Memories are like tides. They return when they are needed. The rest sleep beneath the surface, dreaming until the world calls them again. Finn closes his eyes. He understands, in a way. To cling too tightly to the past is to drown in it. To let go completely is to drift without anchor. But somewhere between remembering and forgetting, there lies peace. When he opens his eyes again, the spirit is gone. The sea has grown calm, almost still. Jake exhales. That was trippy, dude. Finn laughs softly, a quiet sound that feels like relief. Yeah, but kind of true, right? Jake nods. Guess so. Maybe it's okay to forget sometimes. Makes space for new dreams. They fall silent again, watching the glowing horizon. The boat carries them onward, slow and patient. Around them, schools of luminescent fish flicker like scattered stars, swirling in gentle spirals. The air hums with a lullaby only the ocean knows. Or in the distance, something vast rises from the deep. Not a monster, but a memory given shape. It looks like a mountain of glass, shimmering with thousands of lights. Each light a dream, a forgotten moment, a single heartbeat from another time. The boat drifts closer until Finn and Jake can see reflections of their own adventures flickering across the glass. Them climbing Ice King's tower,
Laughing beneath the stars, sharing sandwiches.
sitting quietly together at the end of long days. All the moments that once seemed small now glow like constellations. Finn touches the edge of the glass mountain. It is cool, smooth and alive. Every tiny spark within it hums softly, resonating with his heartbeat. He realizes then nothing truly disappears. It only changes form. Pause. The boat begins to drift back toward the shore, carried by a current that feels like gratitude. Behind them, the sea shimmers, closing gently over its dreams once more. As they approach land, Finn looks up at the stars. They seem closer now, as if they've been listening all along. "Jake," he murmurs, "I think the sea remembers us too." Jake smiles.
Of course it does, dude.
We're part of the dream now. The water laps against the sand, each wave whispering something too soft to catch. Maybe it's a thank you.
Maybe it's goodbye.
Either way, it feels kind. They walk inland beneath the pale light of dawn. Behind them, the dreaming sea glows one last time, then fades into mist. The air feels lighter, clearer, like a sigh released after years of silence. Finn feels peace settle over him, not because he found answers, but because he finally learned how to listen. Sometimes the sea teaches in whispers. It doesn't give truths, only reflections. Pause. Jake hums as they walk.
You know what, bro?
If we're all just memories floating around in some giant ocean, I'm cool with that. Finn smiles. Yeah, me too. The horizon blushes pink, soft as the inside of a shell. They keep walking until the sand turns to grass and the grass to stone. Ahead, a new landscape rises, vast plains dotted with crystal ruins, glowing faintly in the morning light. Finn glances over his shoulder one last time. The sea is gone, or maybe it never was. Only a shimmering line remains where the dream met the waking world. He exhales, slow and steady. "Let's keep going," he says. And the world, gentle as ever, seems to nod in reply. Morning in the land of Oo is not always light. Sometimes it arrives as a hush, a soft shimmer across the air, like the world deciding to wake only halfway. The sky above Finn and Jake glows with quiet silver, and the ground beneath their feet feels cool and smooth.
As if it's been polished by centuries of wandering souls, they have reached the kingdom of reflections.
A place that exists between moments, not fully real, not entirely dream. Every surface here shines faintly. The rocks, the rivers, even the air seems to glint when they move, catching fragments of light and throwing them gently back. There is no sound but their footsteps, and yet it feels as though someone, somewhere, is breathing with them. Jake's voice breaks the silence, soft but curious.
Well, You ever feel like you're being watched, bro?
Finn smiles faintly. Maybe we're watching ourselves. They stand before a lake, perfectly circular, so still it looks like glass. It reflects not just the sky, but the idea of the sky, stretching endlessly in all directions. When Finn kneels beside it, his reflection doesn't move with him. It looks back with its own quiet awareness. The reflection smiles, not a mirror smile. A knowing smile. Finn hesitates. In that reflection's eyes, he sees more than his face. He sees every version of himself that ever was. The boy in the bear hat, the restless hero, the wanderer who sought meaning in a world made of candy and sorrow. He sees joy. He sees pain. He sees the long, gentle ache of growing up, and beyond all of it, he sees stillness, the kind that comes when a storm has finally spent itself. Jake watches, his shape stretching lazily across the grass, his voice low and slow. You seeing something deep again, huh? Finn nods. I think I'm seeing what's left of me. Pause, the lake stirs. Tiny ripples form, not from wind, but from thought. Each ripple carries an image, a fragment of memory. There's the treehouse, green and alive, bathed in sunlight. There's BMO dancing, singing a nonsense tune. There's the Ice King, misunderstood and lonely. And there's Jake, always there, grinning like a sunrise. One by one, the images drift outward, dissolving into light. Finn whispers, "It's like the lake knows everything we've ever been." Jake yawns. And maybe it knows everything we will be too. The Kingdom of Reflections is said to show travelers not what they want to see, but what they need to understand. Each mirror, each shimmer of light, is a doorway into realization. And realization, like all gentle things, can break you open or make you whole. They begin to walk. The world around them hums softly, alive with mirrored motion. Sometimes the reflections in the water show them walking together. Other times the reflections walk apart, each on their own path. Pause. At one point, Finn sees a version of himself that stayed in the Candy Kingdom, helping to rebuild. Another that sailed away on a ship made of light.
Another that laid his sword down forever, choosing peace over adventure. All of them are him.
All of them are true. It is strange to realize that even heroes are infinite, that no single version holds the entire story. Jake nudges him gently. Looks like you got a whole multiverse of yourself, dude. Finn chuckles.
Guess I do.
But which one's the real me? Jake smiles, easy and wise.
Maybe all of them, bro.
Maybe the trick's not picking one, it's loving them all. They stop at a great crystal arch that rises from the ground like a frozen wave. Beneath it flows a river of liquid light, moving in slow spirals. Finn kneels again, looking into the current. This time he sees not memories, but emotions. Colors swirling in rhythm. Blue for sadness.
Gold for laughter.
Green for hope. Silver for quiet understanding. He reaches toward the water, and when his fingers touch it, the colors ripple outward, blending together into soft white light. The river hums, and a voice, neither male nor female, rises from within it, tender as the sound of wind in grass. You have carried much, child of the surface. Lay it down, Finn's throat tightens. Lay what down? Everything that does not sing any more. Pause. The words fall into him like gentle rain. He doesn't need to ask again. He understands. He closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, and lets go of guilt, of old fears, of the endless need to prove himself. The water glows brighter, carrying those fragments away, transforming them into soft ripples of light that fade into the current. When he opens his eyes, the lake is calm again, and the reflection that looks back at him smiles. Freer.
Lighter. Jake touches his shoulder.
Feeling better? Finn nods slowly. Yeah, I think I finally get it. The world doesn't remember us because it has to. It remembers us because we became part of it. Jake grins. Told ya. Everything melts into everything. They rest beside the glowing river as twilight begins to fall. The mirrored landscape shimmers around them. 1,000 reflections of fading light, each one holding a slightly different version of the same piece. The kingdom hums quietly, as if singing a lullaby for travelers who have learned to see themselves clearly. Finn closes his eyes. He remembers being afraid once, of growing older, of losing the spark that made adventure worth having. But now, sitting here beside Jake, he realizes something simple. Adventure isn't a place. It's a way of being.
And peace, real peace, is just another kind of adventure. Pause. Jake shifts his shape into something soft and round like a pillow, and Finn leans back against him.
The mirrored stars above shimmer, stretching endlessly into their reflections below. It's impossible to tell where the sky ends and the water begins. For a moment, it feels as if they are floating, not on land or sea, but in the middle of existence itself. Finn whispers, half to himself,
I think I finally know who I am. Jake chuckles, his voice thick with drowsy warmth.
Yeah, dude, you're Finn. You're the hero who learned how to rest, and the world, shimmering and kind, seems to agree as they drift towards sleep. The reflections around them begin to fade, turning transparent like glass at dawn. The kingdom slowly disappears, as though folding back into the dream that created it. Before it vanishes completely, Finn sees one last image in the water, himself and Jake, younger and laughing beneath the golden leaves of their treehouse home. The reflection smiles, then ripples away. Finn exhales a breath that feels like release. Jake murmurs,
Almost asleep. Where to next, bro?
Finn smiles faintly. Wherever the dream takes us, pause. The mirrored light folds into darkness. Only the stars remain, and even they seem to hum softly.
As if remembering something precious and old, their light leads onward.
Into the next dream. A place where music moves through mountains, and memories sing themselves into being. The mountains of Oo do not rise, they breathe. In the twilight distance, their shapes seem to pulse with slow rhythm, peaks glowing faintly like the lungs of a sleeping world. The air grows cool as Finn and Jake approach, thick with a sound that is not quite wind, not quite music. It hums beneath the ground, low and steady, as if the world itself were whispering its own name. Jake pauses first. His ears twitch.
You hear that? Finn nods. It's like the world's singing.
The closer they walk, the clearer it becomes. A deep tone, ancient and calm, vibrating through the soil, through their bones, through the sky. Every few steps the note shifts, blending with another, until the whole mountain range seems alive with harmony. It is not a song sung to anyone. It is a song simply being. Pause. They reach the mouth of a vast cave, its entrance draped with curtains of glowing moss. The light shimmers like emerald fireflies in slow motion. Inside, the hum deepens, a heartbeat echoing from unseen depths. Finn takes a slow breath. Do you think someone's down there? Jake stretches his arm, listening. Nah, I think it's the mountain itself, dude. Maybe it's dreaming. They step inside. The air grows warmer, heavier with sound. Each footstep makes the ground ring softly, a bell tone that lingers. The walls glitter with crystalline veins, pulsing faintly with rhythm, like veins carrying the heartbeat of the world. As they descend, Finn feels a strange calm. It's as if the sound beneath his feet knows him, as though it recognizes something in his heart and hums it back, gently, with love. Jake hums along absently, matching the tone. The harmony that blooms between them feels ancient, natural, inevitable, as if they've sung together for 1,000 lifetimes. Pause. At last, they reach a vast chamber. It's round and open with pillars of stone that rise like frozen waves. In the center lies a pool of silver water, perfectly still. Above it, a slow drift of glowing dust moves through the air, like stars caught in slow motion. Finn whispers, "It's beautiful." Jake adds softly, "It's quiet, but loud at the same time." He's right. The sound here is everywhere and around them, beneath them, within them. Each heartbeat, each breath becomes part of the melody. They sit by the pool. For a long time, neither speaks. Then, a ripple moves across the surface, though no hand or wind disturbs it. A soft tone rises from the water, like the ring of a glass touched by light fingers. And from that sound, voices begin to emerge, faint and layered, echoing softly from every direction. Not voices of people, but of memories, the kind of sounds that live between heartbeats, the laughter of old friends, the sigh of wind through the treehouse, the distant call of adventure across Candy Kingdom fields. Finn closes his eyes. He hears BMO's laugh, soft and bright. He hears Princess Bubblegum's careful words, half science, half love. He hears the gentle bark of Lady Rainicorn and the rumbling purr of Jake on a lazy afternoon. Each sound comes and goes like a wave, blending into the mountain's song. Pause. Then a deeper sound joins the melody, a familiar voice echoing from the shadows of memory. "Hey, Finn!" Jake freezes. "Wait, that sounds like me." The voice continues, warm and sleepy. "Everything melts into everything, bro." Finn opens his eyes. Across the pool, the ripples shimmer, forming the outline of two figures. One tall, one round and stretchy, laughing together beneath a painted sunset. It's them. A memory made of sound. Jake whispers, "Guess the mountain's been recording us." Finn smiles faintly. "Yeah, maybe it keeps all our moments, so nothing ever really disappears." They listen. Each note that rises seems to hold a fragment of ooh, the history of every creature, every leaf, every joy, and every sorrow. The mountain doesn't judge or forget. It simply remembers through harmony. Finn feels something shift inside him. He realizes that the mountain's music is not just the world's memory, it's the memory of connection. Every song it hums is the echo of one thing touching another. Stone to water, heart to heart, moment to moment. He whispers softly, "This place isn't singing about the past. It's singing about everything still connected." Jake nods, his eyes half closed. "Yeah, dude. Like how sound keeps moving even after it fades. You can't see it, but it's still out there, vibing. They stay there for a long time, just breathing with the rhythm of the world. The air grows thick with shimmering particles, faint memories made visible. Finn sees tiny moments floating past like fireflies. A candy citizen smiling, a leaf falling on a pond, a raindrop catching sunlight before it vanishes. Each one a note in the same song, Oz. Slowly, Finn begins to hum again, softly, almost instinctively. The sound is simple, almost childlike, but the mountain hears him. The crystals glow brighter, the tones deepen. The entire chamber responds, turning his hum into a vast, echoing chord. Jake joins in, his voice stretching and bending, adding warmth to the tone. Together they fill the space with harmony. two friends singing with the pulse of creation itself. The melody rises higher, glowing through the stone walls until it feels like the mountain is smiling. Then, as naturally as it began, the song fades, not ending, but becoming silence. The stillness that follows is alive. It's the kind of silence that hums beneath thought. The silence of everything that's ever been said and still means something. Jake exhales. Man, that felt good. Finn nods slowly. It's like the mountains sang back everything I never knew how to say. He looks into the pool again, and this time he sees no reflections, only depth. Endless, quiet depth. He realizes that this, too, is part of being alive. To sing, to fade, to become part of something larger. Not to be remembered by the world, but to be remembered within it. As they rise to leave, the air shifts once more. A final tone ripples through the chamber, soft, high, and full of promise, of
"It feels like a blessing." Finn looks back at the glowing pool. He places his hand over his chest and whispers, "Thank you." The mountain hums once more in reply, then returns to stillness. Jake stretches his limbs toward the cave's mouth.
"Where to now, buddy?" Finn smiles. Up, toward the light. And so they climb. Each step feels lighter, as if the mountain itself is lifting them with every note that still hums beneath their feet. The air grows brighter until the tunnel opens once more to the soft, golden dusk. Outside, the world is silent, but not empty. They can still feel the music beneath it all, waiting quietly, humming beneath the soil, in the rivers, in the stars. Pause. As they walk, Jake speaks without looking back. "You ever think maybe we're all just songs the world sings to itself?" Finn smiles. "Yeah? And maybe when we're gone, the song keeps playing." Jake nods. "Then I guess we just got to make sure our verse is beautiful." The wind moves through the grass, carrying with it a faint echo of the mountain's song. Soft, slow, infinite. The night deepens. The stars begin to shimmer again, as if remembering the melody. Somewhere in that stillness the sound continues, the song of all things quietly alive, and as Finn and Jake lie beneath it, eyes growing heavy, they can still hear the hum in their bones, steady, safe, eternal. It is the sound of the world dreaming, and they dream along with it. At the edge of Oo, where the sky bends inward like a mirror and the air smells faintly of old rain, there stands a tree unlike any other. It is called the Time Tree. Its roots plunge not just into the soil, but into memory itself. Its branches stretch not just toward the sky, but into possibility, fracturing into countless thin strands of light, each one humming faintly like a harp string. Finn and Jake come upon it at twilight, when the stars begin to appear in pairs, their reflections trembling on invisible rivers of air. The ground beneath them feels soft and rhythmic, like it's breathing in slow time. Jake tilts his head back, his eyes wide. "Whoa, that's not just a tree, dude." Finn nods. The tree before them shimmers in slow motion, every leaf suspended between what was and what might be. The trunk is made of translucent amber with shapes moving inside, shadows of people, of places, of moments caught between heartbeats. Pause. As the wind moves through it, the branches make no sound. Instead, the air ripples with visions. Each movement of a leaf seems to reveal a scene. Brief, delicate, incomplete. Finn sees himself as a child, sitting under another tree, laughing with Jake. Then, in another shimmer, he sees a version of himself much older, his hair silvered, his sword resting on his knee. He blinks and both fade. Jake scratches his head. "So, this tree's showing us what time movies?" Finn shakes his head softly. No, it's showing us when we could be. They sit beneath it, the bark warm against their backs. The air hums softly around them, filled with drifting lights that pulse in slow rhythm. As they rest, something curious happens. The shadows of their bodies begin to stretch outward, not just behind them, but in every direction. Each shadow moves differently, each one walking its own path, carrying its own version of the same heart. Jake blinks at the sight. Whoa, look, man, it's like we're multiplying. Finn watches one of his shadows kneel beside a tiny campfire, alone, humming. Another stands on a cliff, waving to someone unseen. Another vanishes into the horizon. He whispers, "Maybe these are all the versions of us that could have been." Jake grins faintly. "Dang, some of them got cooler hair." They laugh quietly, but the sound feels softer here, as if even laughter belongs to time. After a while, Finn leans against the tree and asks, "Jake, do you ever think about what happens to the parts of us that don't get chosen?" Jake hums thoughtfully.
You mean like when we could have gone left but went right instead? Yeah. Or all the words we almost said but didn't. All the adventures we never took. Are they just gone?
Jake gazes at the roots glowing faintly beneath their feet.
No, I don't think anything really disappears, man. I think time just keeps it somewhere else.
Maybe it's all part of this tree. Finn smiles faintly.
So every choice grows a new branch, Jake nods.
And every branch sings its own tune. They fall into silence, watching the branches above shimmer with faint colors. Some bright as morning, some shadowed like fading dusk. Each one seems to hum with a slightly different version of their story. Then a soft rustle behind them. A figure steps out from the mist. At first, it seems made entirely of light, its shape flickering like the reflection of a candle on water. When it speaks, the voice is both familiar and distant. Jake. Finn sits upright. "Who's there?" The figure smiles gently. "I'm what you might have been if you had never left home." Finn's breath catches. Inside the light, he sees himself. Younger, quieter, eyes untouched by battles or loss. This other Finn carries no sword, only a small wooden flute. Jake blinks. "Whoa, you're like..."
Alt Finn, the other Finn nods slowly.
"Every seed of choice grows into a version of you. The time tree keeps us all connected. I'm one of the echoes that never stepped beyond the hill." Finn stares at him for a moment, unsure what to feel. There's no fear, only an ache of recognition. "You seem..."
Happy, the echo smiles. "I am."
"But I also wonder what it feels like."
"To be you." Pause. Jake looks between them. "Dang, this is trippy." The echo of Finn tilts his head.
"Don't worry.
I'm not here to change anything.
I'm just here to say, every path you didn't take still loves you." The words land like a soft breeze, brushing through the leaves. Finn feels his throat tighten.
You mean...
"We're still part of each other?" "Yes, every possible you hums inside this tree. When you breathe, we breathe too." The echo begins to fade, light dissolving into motes that rise back into the branches. Before vanishing completely, it whispers, "Be kind to the time that holds you." And then it is gone. For a while, Finn doesn't speak. He watches the motes drift upward, glowing faintly until they vanish among the other lights. Jake finally breaks the silence. "Man, that was kind of beautiful." Finn nods.
Yeah, I think I understand now.
The tree isn't just showing us what could have been. It's reminding us that every version of us is still alive, somewhere in the pattern. Jake smiles softly.
So like nothing's wasted. Even the mistakes. Finn looks up at the glowing branches.
"Even the regrets." Oars. A gentle wind moves through the clearing, making the branches sway. The sound that follows is unlike anything they've heard. 1,000 faint heartbeats overlapping, harmonizing. It's the sound of every life touching every other. The time tree hums, and in that hum, Finn feels the whole world breathing together. The past exhaling into the present dreaming the future. Every choice, every path, every what-if becoming part of one long, gentle inhale. He whispers, "Jake, maybe time isn't something that passes. Maybe it's something that listens." Jake's voice is low, almost reverent. Maybe it's listening right now. As night falls, they lie beneath the tree. The sky above them glows faintly with slow-moving stars, some falling upward, some sideways, some hovering in place as if undecided. Finn's eyelids grow heavy. He can feel the hum of the roots beneath him, vibrating softly through the ground. Steady, patient, eternal. The tree seems to murmur in sleep, its leaves shifting through shades of gold, blue, and violet. Every now and then, one leaf falls. And when it touches the ground, it turns into a small, glowing memory before fading. He picks one up before it vanishes, feeling the warmth in his hand. Inside the leaf he sees a brief image, himself, years from now, laughing beside someone he doesn't yet know. He smiles and lets the light go. Jake murmurs, half asleep, "You good, buddy?" Finn nods slowly.
"Yeah, I think..."
"I'm okay with tomorrow, whatever it looks like." The night answers with soft wind. Pause. As the stars drift above, the time tree sighs, a slow, contented sound that ripples across the valley like a lullaby. And in that sigh, Finn and Jake feel themselves blur slightly at the edges, not fading, but becoming lighter, less bound by the weight of days. They sleep at last, their dreams carried upward into the branches, where every dream becomes a new leaf, glowing faintly, singing softly to the rhythm of time itself. The morning begins not with light, but with a sound, a soft, endless murmur of water winding through unseen valleys. When Finn and Jake awaken, dew glitters on their boots. The time tree's branches stretch far behind them, fading into mist. Before them lies a slope that leads down into a glimmering fog, the color of moonlight caught in glass. They walk quietly. Every step feels light, as if the world beneath them were still half dreaming. Soon they hear it more clearly, the whispering voice of a river. But as they approach, they realize this river is different from any they've seen before. Its surface is still and rippling at the same time, flowing forward and backward all at once. The water's color changes with each blink, now silver, now pale green, now clear as air. And within it, faint reflections drift by. Faces, places, moments. Each one rises like a memory from someone else's dream, then fades into the current. Jake squints. "Dude!" "That's us." Finn kneels by the water's edge. In the ripples, he sees their faces, not as they are now, but younger, brighter, before time had carved its quiet lessons into them. The reflection smiles, then dissolves. Jake frowns softly. "Weird. It's like it remembers, but it don't hold on." Finn trails his hand through the current. The water feels cool, almost weightless, like touching the ghost of a thought. He whispers, "Maybe this is the river that carries away what we're not meant to keep." Pause. The air smells faintly of cedar and rain. The trees on the banks sway gently, their leaves dripping slow tears into the water. The current hums like a lullaby sung by time itself. The same tune from the mountain's song, now softened, almost forgotten. They walk along the river's edge for what feels like hours, though the light never changes. The sky here is neither day nor night, a kind of silver pause. Eventually, they reach a bend where the river widens into a calm, reflective pool. Here, the water is so clear it's hard to tell where air ends and depth begins. A single stone sits at the center, worn smooth by centuries. Carved faintly into its surface is a spiral, a symbol of beginnings looping back into endings. Finn sits on the bank, watching the reflection of the stone shimmer. "Jake, do you ever wish you could forget something?" Jake tilts his head. Maybe a few bad burrito choices." Finn laughs softly, but his voice fades quickly.
No, I mean...
"Things that still hurt to remember." Jake stretches, his expression thoughtful. "Nah, I think the bad stuff helps the good stuff shine, you know? But maybe forgetting ain't about losing. Maybe it's about forgiving the memory." Finn looks at the river. Forgiving. The memory. The words settle deep inside him. As they rest, small ripples form on the water's surface. A faint figure rises from the current, translucent, shimmering like sunlight through rain. Its voice sounds like 1,000 whispers layered into one. "Travelers," it says gently, "you walk along the river that forgets itself." Finn bows his head slightly. What does that mean? The spirit smiles. This river once tried to remember every moment of the world.
Every joy, every sorrow, every breath.
But the memories grew heavy, and its waters began to slow. So it learned to let go. Jake scratches behind his ear. So it's like the world's chill-out zone. The spirit chuckles, the sound rippling across the surface. In a way, yes. Those who listen to its song remember what matters.
And release what doesn't. Finn gazes into the current again.
He sees flashes, moments of anger, loss, fear. Then tenderness, laughter, forgiveness. Each image dissolves softly, carried away into nothing. He whispers, "So the river forgets, but it also heals." The spirit nods.
To forget is not to lose. It is to make space for new light, as the air grows warmer.
The reflection of the sky ripples with gentle gold. Finn and Jake step carefully into the shallows. The water slides around their ankles like cool silk. As they wade deeper, they feel the weight of their own memories rising within them. Images of battles fought, words unspoken, goodbyes that never found their endings. The river receives them all without question. Each memory touches the surface, glows softly and fades away. Jake closes his eyes.
I can feel it, bro. It's like all the noise just dissolving. Finn nods.
Yeah, like the world saying, it's okay to let go now. For a long time, they stand there in silence. The current moves around them like a heartbeat, unhurried, steady, timeless. Then something shifts. The water beneath them begins to hum again. Low, melodic, ancient. The river speaks not in words, but in feeling.
A warmth spreads through their chests, a message beyond language. Everything that leaves returns in another form.
Every goodbye is a seed waiting to grow again. Finn opens his eyes. For a moment, he sees shapes beneath the surface. Old friends, fallen kingdoms, forgotten songs, all drifting in peace. Not gone. Just quiet, Jake sighs contentedly. Man,
this river's like a therapist made of water. Finn smiles faintly.
Yeah, maybe it teaches us how to forgive the world for changing. When they finally step out, their footprints glow briefly before fading. They lie down on the grass, the sound of the river lapping gently nearby. The mist begins to lift, revealing a wide valley beyond, open, golden, quiet. Finn turns to Jake. Do you think the river ever forgets itself? Jake stretches out lazily. Maybe that's what makes it perfect. It doesn't need to remember what it just is. Finn looks up at the sky where the first stars are beginning to wake.
Yeah, maybe that's the secret.
To stop clinging to what we've been and just flow. The river seems to answer, its current shimmering faintly with light. Pause. They close their eyes. Somewhere far off, the mountain's song still hums beneath the earth, and the thyme tree's leaves rustle faintly in rhythm. All of Ooh seems to breathe with them. One long, peaceful exhale, the river continues to move, not rushing, not still but eternal in its forgetting. As sleep begins to take them, Finn whispers softly, "Maybe when we wake, we'll remember only what the heart needs," Jake murmurs, half dreaming, "and the rest will wash away." The night settles over them like a blanket of silver fog. In the distance, the river curves around the world, disappearing into the horizon, where forgetting and remembering become the same thing. And in that hush, time itself feels lighter, almost forgiven. Above the valley of the forgetting river, night opens like a slow bloom. The sky stretches deeper than it ever has, a velvet ocean of silver and indigo, each star pulsing softly like a heartbeat in dream. Finn and Jake awaken to a strange glow that feels not like dawn, but like invitation. The stars seem lower tonight, closer, as if the heavens themselves had bent down to listen. Jake yawns and blinks at the horizon. "Yo, Finn, are those stars?"
Moving? Finn rubs his eyes. At first, he thinks it's the after-image of sleep, but no.
The constellations above them shimmer, rearranging like pieces of a great cosmic puzzle. A path begins to form. It glows faintly, spiraling upward through the air. A road made of light, curling into the night sky like a staircase for dreamers. Finn stands slowly, watching as the path solidifies beneath his feet, solid yet soft, like walking on the reflection of a moonlit lake. He looks at Jake and smiles. "You ready to climb?" Jake grins.
"Always, bro."
"Especially if it's into the sky." Pause. They ascend. Each step sends ripples through the air, and each ripple turns into a faint sound. Laughter, songs, the voices of sleeping worlds. The path winds upward through mist and starlight until the air becomes cool and thin, filled with the scent of ozone and dreams. Finally, they emerge through a layer of silver cloud. Before them stretches the city of sleeping stars. It is unlike anything either of them has ever seen. A vast city made of light, suspended in the air. Its towers are crystal and cloud, and its streets flow like rivers of molten glass. No one walks there, but the whole place breathes. Lights pulsing in gentle rhythm, as though the stars themselves were dreaming of their own reflections. Finn whispers, "It's like we're inside the sky's mind." Jake's voice softens. "Yeah, or maybe we're just dreaming someone else's dream." As they walk, they notice the glow coming from countless spheres of light floating in the air. Each one hums faintly, rotating slowly like lanterns. Inside every sphere, faint images move, faces, moments, fragments of lives. Jake leans close to one, squinting. "Yo, that's Princess Bubblegum."
"Look, she's laughing."
Inside the sphere, they see her working in her lab, smiling as something small explodes into pink dust. The soundless laughter makes the sphere pulse with warmth. Finn smiles softly.
"I think these are people's memories."
Their happiest ones. A soft voice answers from behind them. They turn to see a tall figure woven of starlight. Its eyes glow with pale gold, and its form flickers like candlelight in slow motion. "Welcome, travelers," the figure says, its tone gentle, musical. "You have reached the city of sleeping stars, where memories come to rest when hearts sleep." Finn bows his head slightly.
"So, these lights are people's dreams?"
The figure nods. "Dreams, hopes, forgotten joys, all the things too tender for the waking world. When a heart cannot hold its light, we cradle it here." Jake scratches his chin. "So every star is like a nap?" The figure smiles faintly.
Perhaps.
Every dream is a small night folded into eternity. Pause. They walk together through the glowing streets. The figure explains that each star in the sky belongs to someone, a tiny piece of their love, joy, or courage given to the cosmos for safekeeping. When people gaze at the stars, the figure says, they are not looking at distant suns. They are remembering what they once felt most deeply. Finn looks around awestruck.
So every star is a memory that refuses to fade. Yes, the figure whispers.
But even stars must sleep. They reach the heart of the city, a great open square filled with floating orbs, larger and brighter than the rest. Here the air hums with faint, overlapping songs, lullabies in languages long forgotten. The figure gestures toward the center. These are the dreams that hold the world together. When they fade, the night itself trembles. Finn steps forward. Among the glowing orbs, one shines brighter than all the others. A soft, golden light, pulsing like a heartbeat. As he nears it, the glow warms his face, and he hears faint laughter, familiar, gentle, and endless. Jake tilts his head.
That sounds like you, bro. Finn blinks.
Inside the orb, he sees a vision. Himself and Jake sitting by their old tree house, stars above, their laughter echoing into the quiet. He whispers, "Is this
our dream?"
The star being nods. One of many. Every friendship, every kindness leaves a spark in the sky. You two have left more than most, Jake chuckles.
Guess we've been pretty bright, huh?
The being smiles. Brightness isn't measured in how long you shine, but how softly. Pause. They sit beneath the glowing orbs for a while, listening to the quiet hum of 1,000 dreams. Somewhere in the distance, a slow rhythm pulses, a heartbeat too vast to belong to any one creature. It feels like the pulse of the universe itself, dreaming of being alive. Finn whispers, "Jake, do you think stars ever get lonely?" Jake leans back, hands behind his head.
Maybe, but I think they've got each other.
Just like us. The figure raises one luminous hand and points to the horizon. There is one last place in this city few visit, it says softly.
The Chamber of Lost Lights. Finn tilts his head. Lost lights?
Stars whose dreams have gone quiet. Not gone, only waiting to remember. Jake looks at Finn, his tone gentle. "Should we go see?" Finn nods. "Yeah, maybe they need someone to listen." They walk through a narrow archway, entering a dim hall where the light grows faint. The air here is cooler, and the stars that float above are duller, greyish, their hums faint as sighs. Finn reaches toward one, and the light flickers weakly in his hand. Inside he sees a memory, a child hugging an old toy, whispering goodnight. Then growing older, the toy forgotten on a shelf. Finn's voice trembles softly. "It's not sadness. It's just
left behind," Jake nods.
"Yeah, stuff people outgrow, but that still loves them anyway." The star being whispers, "Every forgotten joy waits patiently. Someday, the dreamers will return and these lights will wake again." Finn closes his eyes and breathes gently into the small orb. It glows brighter, slowly warming in his palm. The figure watches in silence as light spreads through the hall, one star reigniting another, then another, until the whole chamber shimmers with pale, trembling radiance. Jake grins softly. "Nice work, dude," Finn smiles. "Guess even forgotten stars just need someone to remember them." The air grows lighter. The city hums once more with renewed warmth. The star being bows deeply. "You have given the sky a gift with the reminder that love does not end when memory fades. It merely sleeps, waiting for a gentle call." Finn bows back.
"Thank you
for letting us see this." The figure's voice grows faint, as if spoken from a dream. "Go now. The stars will remember your kindness long after time forgets its name." And with that, the city begins to dissolve. The towers melt into mist. The streets fade into drifting light. Finn and Jake feel themselves descending slowly, as if carried by the sigh of the heavens. They land softly on a meadow, blanketed in starlight. Above them, the night is clearer than ever. Countless stars gleaming brighter, softer, more alive. Jake stretches with a contented groan. Well, that was cosmic. Finn gazes upward. Yeah, it's like the whole sky's breathing again. They lie back on the grass, watching as one by one the stars twinkle awake, each one a dream, gently remembering itself. The air is warm, the earth soft.
Finn whispers, "Do you think
When we sleep we go there too?" Jake smiles sleepily.
maybe we never left?" Pause. Their eyes grow heavy.
Above them, the city of sleeping stars hums softly, unseen but ever present, a cradle of all things kind and forgotten. The world exhales, slow and deep, and the night folds around them like a gentle wing. The meadow is silent. Above, the stars shimmer like living memories, 1,000 soft eyes watching over sleeping souls.
Finn lies still, his breath even, his heart calm.
Jake is curled beside him, his snores rising and falling like the tide. And somewhere between one heartbeat and the next, the world fades. The grass beneath Finn dissolves into a sea of light. The stars melt into rivers that flow upward. He feels no fear, no sense of falling, only the quiet certainty that he is crossing into something ancient and kind. Oars. When he opens his eyes, he stands at the edge of a great, glassy ocean. The horizon glows with pale gold, and waves move in slow motion, each one whispering faint echoes of laughter, of old battles, of songs sung long ago. A voice calls softly across the water, "Finn the human." Finn turns, and there, rising from the waves, is a figure both familiar and strange. He wears his face but older.
Its eyes hold the same spark, only gentler, as if time has sanded away all the sharp edges. "Who are you?"
Finn asks quietly. The figure smiles. "The dream of what you could be, or perhaps the memory of what you already are." Finn steps closer, and his reflection merges with the figure's form. The air hums with something deep and resonant, a sound older than language and the heartbeat of all the adventures that ever were. "Is this death?" Finn asks. The older self tilts his head. "Not death, just rest." The sea around them ripples with images. Finn sees himself and Jake, younger, laughing under the treehouse, fighting monsters, chasing rainbows. He sees the Candy Kingdom shining in the morning sun, the Ice King writing lonely songs, Marceline's shadow humming to the moon. Each memory glows for a moment, then dissolves into light. It all feels so far away. Finn whispers. "It isn't far," his reflection replies.
"It's all still here."
"You carried every moment with you. The hero's journey doesn't end. It just becomes quieter." Finn looks down.
"I don't feel like a hero anymore." The reflection chuckles softly.
"That's when you finally are one. When you stop trying to prove it, and just let the world be." Pause. The ocean begins to glow brighter, the waves forming slow spirals that rise toward the sky. Finn watches as faces appear within them. Friends, strangers, creatures he once saved or fought. They're all smiling, all shimmering in gold light. "They remember you," says the reflection. "Not as the boy with a sword, but as the boy who cared." Finn closes his eyes, and a tear, soft as dew, falls into the glowing water. "Then maybe," he murmurs, "that's enough." The sea grows still. From its surface rises a single lily, glowing faintly blue. Its petals open and close like a heartbeat. The reflection gestures toward it. Take it, he says.
Every hero carries a last dream, a seed of light that returns to the world when they are gone.
This one is yours. Finn cups the lily in his hands. It's warm, pulsing gently like a sleeping bird. What do I do with it? The reflection smiles. You don't do, you rest. The world will take it from you when it's ready. Finn hesitates. But what if I forget everything? What if no one remembers us? The reflection's eyes glimmer like morning mist. Forgetfulness is not the same as loss. Even when no one remembers the tale, the kindness remains in the soil of the world. Every laugh, every tear, every act of courage, and they all root themselves in time. He touches Finn's shoulder, and suddenly Finn sees it, the whole of Oo beneath a veil of silver mist. He sees old ruins overgrown with flowers. He sees small creatures telling stories by firelight. He sees children wearing wooden swords, pretending to be heroes, and in all of it, a faint warmth, like the echo of a song long sung. That, says the reflection, is your legacy. Not the battles,
Not the victories.
but the gentle way you changed the air. Pause. Finn exhales slowly, the sound of release, not of surrender, but of peace. The ocean sighs in return, and the reflection begins to fade, dissolving into golden mist. Finn whispers, "Wait, will I see you again?" The voice answers, soft as wind over glass. "You already are me."
And I am already dreaming of you. The mist folds inward.
And Finn feels himself being carried away, floating weightlessly through fields of light and memory. When he opens his eyes again, he's back on the meadow. The dawn is just beginning, soft and blue, brushing the horizon with silver. Jake is still asleep beside him, one paw over his snout, snoring softly. Finn looks up at the fading stars. For a moment he feels an ache, a gentle sadness like saying goodbye to something sacred. But then warmth replaces it. Because he understands now, nothing truly leaves. Everything simply moves into another dream. He looks at Jake and smiles. "Hey, buddy," Jake stirs, mumbling half asleep. What's up, dude?" "Thanks," Finn says quietly. "For what?" "For being the dream that never ends." Jake stretches and yawns. "Bro, that's either really deep or you just need breakfast." Finn laughs softly. "Maybe both." Pause. They lie there as the sky brightens, the last stars fading into the pale morning. Each star that vanishes leaves behind a faint shimmer, a quiet promise that it will return when the world closes its eyes again. And Finn feels the lily still glowing faintly in his hand. He plants it gently into the earth beside him. The petals sink beneath the soil, and from it grows a tiny sprout of light. It flickers once, twice, then steadies into a small, constant glow. Jake tilts his head. "Whoa, what's that?"
Finn smiles. "Just
"A little dream for the next hero." The meadow fills with morning sounds. Soft wind, the distant hum of bees, the whisper of time beginning again. Finn closes his eyes and breathes deeply. The scent of dew, the sound of wind through grass. All of it feels like a lullaby written for him. He realizes that the greatest adventures were never about where he went, but what he became while going there. He became patient. He became kind. He became still. And in that stillness, he found something that all heroes one day seek. Not victory, not glory, but peace. Pause. The dream of the hero does not end with his story. It drifts, soft and unseen, into every corner of the world. Waiting to be found again, it is in a child's courage, in a song half remembered, in a star that refuses to fade. And so, beneath the endless sky, Finn and Jake rest. Two friends in a world that keeps dreaming of them. The breeze moves softly through the grass, carrying the faint sound of laughter. It might be the world remembering. It might be the dream beginning again. Either way, it is enough. The day unfolds softly, like a slow yawn from the heart of the sky. Light spreads across the land of Oo in golden ripples, touching the rivers, the ruins, the forests that whisper with ancient laughter. Somewhere far away, a breeze stirs the petals of a flower. The same one Finn planted in the meadow, glowing faintly in the morning light. The world is waking, yet it feels as though it's dreaming still. The air carries a weightless calm, as if every sound is wrapped in silk. Finn and Jake walk quietly through the fields. Their footsteps make no mark, their shadows blend with the grass. It feels like the beginning of something, or perhaps the end of everything that needed to be loud, as they walk until the landscape begins to change. Mountains rise like slow-breathing giants, their peaks dusted with light. Rivers murmur like forgotten lullabies, and above them all, clouds gather in great, gentle spirals, shimmering faintly with starlight, even though the sun still shines. Finn looks up. It's like the sky doesn't want to stop dreaming, Jake chuckles. Maybe it just forgot how. They sit on a smooth boulder overlooking the valley, watching the golden haze ripple like the surface of a warm sea. For a while they don't speak. The silence between them isn't empty. It's full of everything they've seen, everything they've lost, and everything they still hold without needing to name. Far below, the Candy Kingdom lies still and quiet. The towers shine like sugar in sunlight, but no voices echo from its streets. The world has grown peaceful, not from victory, but from gentleness. Finn wonders if time itself has grown tired, if after countless ages of adventure, of creation and chaos, the land has simply decided to rest. He looks down at his hands. They glow faintly. Light seeping from his skin, not fading, but softening. Jake notices too. Dude, you're kind of glowing. Like end of an episode glowing, Finn laughs.
Yeah, feels right though, Jake nods.
Guess everything's got a nap eventually.
Even heroes. Pause. The wind shifts, carrying a faint melody, a song they know but can't quite place.
It sounds like the hum of the stars, like Marceline's old bass notes echoing from beyond the hills. It's the song of Oo itself, humming its own lullaby. Finn closes his eyes and listens. Every tone feels like a heartbeat from the earth. Every pause feels like the breath between dreams. And in that stillness, he begins to see things. Faint lights flickering across the horizon. They are not stars nor torches, but tiny fragments of memory rising into the air.
Each one carries a moment, a laugh, a tear, a friendship, a goodbye. They drift upward,
joining the clouds, the sun, the fading moon, weaving together like golden threads in a vast, sleeping tapestry. Jake murmurs, "It's like the world's tucking itself in." Finn smiles.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
The sky dims slightly.
Not dark, just softer, as though the sun itself is preparing to dream.
The river's slow, the trees stop swaying, and the air grows warm and weightless. All around them, colors fade into gentle twilight. The blue of the sky deepens into violet. The green of the grass melts into silver. Everything becomes luminous, not gone, but translucent, as if the whole world is turning into a memory. Jake tilts his head.
So what happens now?
Finn looks out over the horizon. Maybe nothing.
Maybe everything. He takes a deep breath and exhales slowly.
The sound blends with the wind, and for a moment it feels like the entire world exhales with him. A long, final sigh of peace. "Jake," he says, softly.
Do you think we'll dream after this?
Jake grins, sleepy and content.
Bro, we are the dream. Pause.
Finn smiles, eyes glimmering with quiet wonder. He feels his body lighten, as though gravity itself has decided to rest. The light from within him grows brighter, mingling with the sky's soft glow. Jake begins to shimmer too, his golden fur turning to light. They look at each other, not afraid, not sad, only full of calm recognition. Everything they have ever been. Laughter,
Bravery, mistakes, songs, and it all gathers around them.
swirling like a gentle aurora, Finn whispers.
I think it's time. Jake nods, his voice soft as starlight.
Then let's go together, dude. They rise slowly, carried by invisible wind. Their forms dissolve into trails of gold, curling upward into the vast, sleeping sky. As they ascend, the world below begins to dim, not dying, but dreaming deeper. The rivers turn into threads of silver. The mountains fold into clouds. The forests melt into soft, endless mist. And at the heart of the dream, the little flower Finn planted glows brighter, a small, eternal beacon. From its roots, new light spreads across the soil, not harsh or fast, but steady and kind. Wherever it touches, the earth hums with warmth. Somewhere in that warmth, voices begin to whisper, faint and distant, like echoes through time. Children telling stories by moonlight, old songs hummed in forgotten languages, the laughter of friends who never really left. The story of Finn and Jake becomes part of all of it, not written in stone or sung by bards, but folded softly into the heartbeat of the world. No one remembers exactly where the meadow is or when the two vanished. But sometimes, on nights when the stars seem lower and the wind feels alive, travelers say they hear two voices laughing softly in the sky, and when they close their eyes, they dream of golden dogs and heroes in blue hats, running through endless fields under silver light. The last light of the world flickers once, not an ending, but a heartbeat. Then everything becomes quiet. A vast stillness stretches across the rivers sleep, the stars hum. The sky closes its eyes, and in that perfect, eternal moment, when all stories finally rest, the world dreams of itself. It dreams of kindness. It dreams of friendship. It dreams of never needing to wake. Pause. At the edge of that dream, a soft voice whispers, neither Finn's nor Jake's, but something larger, the voice of all that has ever been loved. Sleep now, little world. You have done enough. And the world listens. It breathes once more, slow, deep, final. Then it drifts into the gentlest sleep imaginable. And so the tales of Finn and Jake become whispers beneath the dream of the world.
Not lost, not gone, simply resting where time cannot reach. Their laughter hums through every star.
Their kindness blooms in every field. And somewhere beyond the edges of waking, they continue. Two souls wandering through an endless, gentle dawn as you lie here now, listening to the quiet between breaths.
Know that you are part of that same dream.
Your memories, your laughter, your small kindnesses, they too become light that the world remembers. Perhaps that's all any story really wishes for. To be remembered softly, to be felt even when the words fade, so close your eyes. Let your thoughts settle like starlight upon still water. The world is safe. The story is asleep. And in the silence that follows, the dream continues. Forever and ever and ever. Pause, good night, adventurer.